Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, Matthew Sweetwood. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
I am
Hopefully, spring is starting, but I don't know. It's pretty cold out there.
That would
So
be so nice. I know. I'm hearing about all this global warming, and I think this might be an after effect. I don't know.
global. It feels like global cooling to
A little
me.
bit. A little
Yeah.
bit. Okay, so I'm very, very excited here to bring you today Matthew Sweetwood of Unique Photo, and I just want to give you a little background about this super enormous personality that we have here today on our show. Okay, so Matthew began his full-time career at Unique Photo while he was attending Penn State. He was an early adopter of
Wait.
what,
It's
what?
University of Pennsylvania. We used to wear T-shirts
Yeah.
that say Penn, not Penn State. So I'm the University of Pennsylvania. We can't let that go.
Is that so?
Yeah, Penn State. They have a little bit of problem with men and children.
Uh-huh.
They're out in the middle of the state.
Okay.
We're Ivy League, and we're in Philadelphia. But keep
Gotcha.
going.
Gotcha. No, I appreciate that you fixed that on me. I do. So okay.
Mhm.
Matthew has become nationally known as a marketing innovator, a risk taker, and an extremely quick and creative thinker. He has personally been involved in the acquisition of over 50 U.S. and international trademarks for both language and design at Unique Photo, and he founded and ran the Ozzie award-winning publication Photo Insider. Most recently, he has been credited with the reinvention of the successful modern camera store, Unique Photo, which is the country's largest in-store education program, Unique University. Right? He's been a regular photography contributor on Fox News, and I've been up at 5 a.m. watching that, NBC Today Show, News 12 New Jersey, and other high-file programs, and also spoken publicly for organizations like UPS, FedEx, NJ Devils Hockey, and BMW. He's a devoted father of five, all of whom still live here in New Jersey, and he's an avid New Jersey Devils fan. And he's also running their largest fan forum. He's also an advanced auto racer with the BMW Club, and of course, he's a photography expert. So that's why we're here today. So Matthew,
I feel like we're like on a dating site or something like that. I should use that.
you should get little high chairs like
Cheers,
they have in the dating game. Yeah.
exactly right.
Next
I
time.
think I got to take out the devil stuff. We're kind of lousy this year, so I don't know.
Is that
I'm a
well?
Fairweather fan.
That's
Can I
no
say?
fault of your own though. You do
Yeah,
what you can.
I don't know. I brought them bad karma or something. I don't know. They're not very good.
Not sure if it's you. I have
Yeah,
to say.
maybe not. Maybe
You've been
not.
nothing but good luck for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, Matthew, I want to ask you a question
Sure.
that I think is of interest to our audience here. How did you get your start in photography?
Okay, so for me, I entered photography really, in a reverse manner. I entered photography not really having any formal training, not really knowing much of anything, but running a business that sells photography supplies. So you learn by osmosis, if lack for a better other word. I mean, you're around photographers all the time. When we reinvented this camera store, one of the components that I wanted to add was an education program. And I believe that if you want to run a successful company, you have to believe in your product and you have to be an expert in your product. You can't just run it from a distance and not really understand. I always used to joke in corporate America that the corporate CEOs in many cases didn't even understand the product that their own companies sell. They could be a CEO in any position. They open spreadsheets and they sort of move numbers around and look at return on investment. And without understanding the essence of whatever it is that you sell, sort of its DNA, I don't really think you can be successful in business. So when we transitioned our business, let's say 5, 6 years ago, really from a wholesale business where we sold photographers, we had a mail order business. Stores opened 6 years in June. When we transitioned that business, I really felt like I had to really gain expertise myself. Even as the company's chief executive, I still had to gain insight myself into photography. So when I built the education program, I said, okay, I'm going to learn it and I'm going to start taking pictures. And I can't say that I regret doing that. And I love photography. It's my hobby.
Absolutely. And Unique University is your baby, in fact?
That's right. It is
It
absolutely.
is.
Yeah, and so the way that came about, because we sort of talked about a couple of times reinventing the camera store,
Mhm.
the old camera store model was a film-based model.
Okay.
Like some of us are old enough to remember film. Now you're like only in your early 20s, so you probably don't remember film. But I'll sort of refresh for our viewers what film is about. So the concept in film in a camera store is that a customer would come in and buy film. That would be one trip to the store.
Okay.
Then they would come back and bring back the film to be developed. That'd be two trips to the store.
Hmm.
Then they come to pick up their prints, and that'd be three trips to the store. So every single picture was three trips to the store. In addition to that, you couldn't buy film on the internet. There was no internet. There was no, cameras were not as ubiquitous as they are today. You really only bought a camera in a camera store. And then you can buy a camera in a Staples and wherever you
True.
are, online everywhere. So the camera's ubiquitous. They lost the film model that generated customers coming into the store. Even single-use cameras were popular at one time. They brought traffic in and out for the same reason.
Okay.
Once to buy the camera, once to bring it in for process, one and so on. That model went away. All the camera stores went away. You add in the internet, you add in all those other things. Digital photography basically took away the camera store. So what I did was I took a look at the new modern cameras and said they're very, very complicated. People really don't know how to take pictures with them, their computers. Let's create an education-based model which draws people back into the store.
Right.
That's what happens. So when you run an education program, people will continue to come back to you over and over and over again. In addition to that, you really change your relationship with the customer. Look at the relationship that you started with my company, not just us personally, but you started with my company. You don't see us as a retail store necessarily.
Right.
You see us as a resource, and
Absolutely.
that changes your attitude towards the store. It's not, in many cases, a retail store is an adversarial relationship with you, right?
Right.
You go into the store, you want to get as much as you can for as little as can, and they want to get as much money from you and get you to buy as much as possible.
Right.
We've sort of transcended that relationship here by creating an education-based model. So you view us as a teacher more than a seller.
Absolutely. And I agree with you in that you're a resource more than just a seller of photography products. And I'll say this, okay? This changed my life, okay? This is my Canon T4i. I love shooting with my DSLR. You can't get depth of field with any smartphone like this, okay?
No, and they don't really quite work quite as in low light.
They
Like
don't.
so.
You have such control of this, and you made me an animal. I'm a complete shutterbug. I'll say I took a unique university class, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. It was a DSLR introductory course, so it introduced me to the machine, the mechanics. For me, it was like learning how to fly a plane. I had no idea what to do with this. It was very scary, but I knew that I needed to get better at sharing the visuals because I was doing a lot of work on the internet, developing websites and stuff, and I needed great content for a great website, not just, okay pictures that kind of showed what we wanted to say, but I would have control of those photos that made people really want to sink their teeth into that.
Absolutely.
So, it wasn't just about how to take better photographs, but it was about learning how to use this, and it was so scary to me. So tell me a little bit more about that.
So the university program that we have here was really designed for beginners to professionals. So we try to look at all areas of photography. So you'll see in our programs, you'll see classes for working professionals, you'll see for aspiring professionals and so on. But the most popular class is the class that you took.
Yeah.
We put between 500 and 1,000 people through that program, through multiple classes. If you notice, the classes you took were relatively small in size.
Yeah.
And that program is designed to get the user from just leaving the camera in automatic mode.
Right.
The camera on the green button. We always say we're going to get you off the green button on the camera, right?
Absolutely, that little green button right there.
Little green guy there, right? You see, good for you. You see, I see your camera's in manual.
It is. Well,
See that?
I have to give credit, okay, totally. I learned with Mike Downey, Rick Garrity, who are monsters in photography. You hire these professionals that just, teach you from the ground level how to take great shots and to be in control of this. And I never shoot in any automatic modes. I know that I shoot in AV, TV. I actually learned how to shoot with a light meter so that I can actually pop it into manual. Oh, you made me a complete shutterbug, you did.
That's right. That's the idea. And you find that the cameras today are really amazing. So if you leave the cameras in automatic, I mean, you can get 70% of your pictures. You can. But there's 30% of the pictures, and those are the ones that usually you want the most, you can't get with the camera in manual, so in automatic. So you have to know how to manipulate the camera, and we teach you that. But if you notice, that course also wasn't just about the sort of very basic mechanics of the camera. Part of that program was the art of seeing, where we started to talk about how you start to visualize pictures, and how you start to visualize composition. And you've been in other classes here. I mean, you see that we have a whole wide variety of ways of teaching photography. And like you said, we change lives. You leave class, and forever, for the rest of your life, you'll be able to capture the most important memories and business events and things that relate to you better than you ever did before. So that's really a change in life.
Absolutely. And I think really that introduction to composition and what actually is the frame of your picture, what story do you want to tell is pretty much what it boils down to.
It's really, I'm looking at you right now, and it's funny how you sort of set your own area where you have yourself on camera. I can see it's a photographer, how you framed it. You've got the monitor in 1/3, you're in the middle third, and your say wow is in the other third.
I'm going to actually show you something that I keep here in my office for inspiration. It just didn't make it into this cropped frame that I have right behind me. This is actually a photograph that was taken on my very first photo excursion. This was in January 2013, I want to say, with Mike Downey at the Brooklyn waterfront. Right. Amazing. So I learned how to take a shot like that. That was me. That was like my first photography excursion ever.
That's a shot too.
It's ridiculous. And then we took another one, and it just shows you that you can totally, do this yourself. You just have to learn. And education is the key to anything.
But what I'm saying is, what's really interesting is to watch how your eye has changed. You're using photographic technique to set up the set that you're sitting in right now. I can see it. I can see how you've applied the rule of thirds to the way you see everything with the rule of thirds, right?
Right, absolutely. See, it's creeped into every aspect of my life, even in setting up this Logitech HD webcam that I have here. I actually had to go into the advanced settings and set my exposure, set my
you become more comfortable with the technical aspects of things. Absolutely.
And you apply all of these things in everything that you do, especially when you're creating visual content. Now, this video is going to live on YouTube. The podcast is going to be available on iTunes. Don't you want to make sure that everything that you produce is great out of the gate?
Absolutely, of course, of course. So, and the other thing good that's really cool about photography is that it's fun. It's one of those hobbies or interests or occupations that's actually fun. You're capturing life, you're capturing images, you're capturing people. It's really a fun thing.
Absolutely, and especially for businesses, that I help. People just think that they have to take product shots, or they have to take pictures of people in action. If they have a service-based business, they have to show that the people producing whatever it is. But it's also about the people behind the scenes and the team. I know that your team is excellent at social media. They're always showing people behind the scenes. Tell me a little bit about that and the other kind of photographs that you can take.
That's a great. That's a really, and since we're really sort of trying to keep it to the marketing area.
Yeah.
You have your marketing message has to carry itself through every aspect of your business. So it's not only outward marketing, but you have to market inwardly. You have to convince your staff. Your staff has to be completely on board with that. So you want them to be projecting the same message. I can sit in the corner office here and have all sorts of ideas and ways I want customers to be treated or create the image of our business. But if our employees, if our staff, if our members here don't feel that way, they're not going to really project that to the customer. So I spend a significant amount of my time doing, I'll call it internal marketing. It sounds a little bit pejorative, but it's not. It's really communicating internally the company message and getting everybody on board with that. And by doing that, they then will project out the same message. It translates itself when you're in the store. You have a pretty uniform experience, even no matter what salesperson you walk up to.
Right.
From simply they'll wear a blue shirt, but it's not just wearing a blue shirt. It's the way they treat the customer. It's the way they talk outwardly. So it's natural. Then the natural extension from that is their social media. When they talk about photography and when they reflect what goes on in the company, will reflect that also. So we actually work directly and indirectly. But sometimes it's direct. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, here's a really cool piece of information that we learned exclusively from a vendor, right? So you send it out to your people and you say, hey, send this out to your friends. Then they become more authoritative. They're sort of conveying this cutting edge message that we want from the company, and you have a unified message out there. One of the most successful companies in the world, and actually a company that reinvented itself this way, was IBM. IBM said, hey, we have 400,000 employees.
Right.
Imagine if we could get all of them or enough of them acting in unison in social media. We can own social media space. We can own some intellectual space out there, and they're actually a model company for doing that. And obviously we're a smaller company.
Right.
I try to match that model whenever possible to get your staff behind what you do.
And I think it's excellent. I
you
think
have
it's totally.
you have troops working for you. Let's
Yes.
get the troops working.
Right.
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 And today it's, a lot of times you'll see an objection to that. Well, it's my personal social media account. So what? It doesn't really matter.
Right.
You're still in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
All we want you to do is sort of keep the conversation going.
Right.
And that to me is a very, very important part.
And I'm glad that you're so onto that, because a lot of companies just think there's so much red tape that they have to go through, and they're just kind of fearful that somebody's going to say something that they won't be able to retract out there in social media. It's always about fear, but you just kind of welcome it with open arms because you're so confident in what you're offering. So I think that's really, important for businesses to realize.
There are some issues with that, but you have to remember it's their personal accounts that they're sending out on.
Sure.
So it's not. I mean, as the top executive, I can sort of say, okay, gee, I could be fearful they can say something, but it's ultimately their account.
Right.
And if they're going to say something so provocative, they probably that's going to reflect itself in other ways. We've just never had a problem because we have really good people working here.
Yeah.
That's going to have now. In bigger companies, they have guidelines, and they will actually have written guidelines for what you can say about the. And the interesting thing, I was just at a marketing conference where this topic actually was discussed in detail.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is that the requirements for internal Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts and so on is very strict. So if you work for IBM, let's say, or you work for us, and you're tweeting as the company, there's very strict guidelines for what you can say. But those guidelines relax a lot when it's your personal, because it becomes your personal opinion. It's not the opinion of the company. So you shouldn't fear it. You should definitely embrace that concept and get your employees to be your voice. Absolutely. And reward those employees that do it on a frequent basis.
Right. That's an excellent point, because rewarding them is going to encourage them to do more. Sometimes people don't really have that encouragement. They're not sure kind of what to do, if that was right. People aren't even giving them any feedback about the content that they produced, or whatever it is. So I highly
right. It's you got a team of people that are supposedly on your side. Use your team. Use your troops.
Yes, absolutely. So with that, I want to ask you this. Okay, so we've spoken a little bit about smartphones. We've spoken about social media, and we both know that a lot of social media takes place on these. Okay, so wherever you are, it's always available. It's ready. Totally you. I know it. I follow you on Twitter all the time.
Right.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
So I just wanted to speak to you about smartphones and what your thoughts are, where it's going, and about the importance of user-generated content. And I think that's something I want to hear from you about.
See, smartphone, the magic of the smartphone is that it's the communication device that's with you when things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the one that you're most likely to have, because most of us actually walk around with smartphones. I always like to say mine has a nipple on it, right? And I feed like a baby on it, right?
Right.
Because it's in my hand as much as baby holds their bottle, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's really the driving aspect of it. See, there's a secondary photography aspect of it. So we talk from a photography perspective. The photography that comes out of cell phones is really relatively poor, despite what people think, but it still can capture the moment.
Yes.
The good news in the camera area with relation to smartphones, cameras are improving dramatically as we go.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a whole new line of cameras that actually communicate. So the cameras are going to take awesome pictures and communicate, and they're going to work in conjunction with your smartphone. So you're going to want to have multiple devices with you. It's going to be worth it, because the smartphone is going to be your communication device, and for that quick emergency picture or whatever. And then your phone is going to be your camera is going to be the device that you're going to really capture those important pictures and communicate through your phone from the camera.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this at all. Could you tell me a little bit more about it? So a camera is going to communicate with a smartphone?
Right. So you're going to see technology like Wi-Fi Direct and Bluetooth Direct and other methods that are going to connect your camera with your smartphone.
Oh.
So the camera that you carry with you, you'll be able to take a picture. Mm-hmm. I saw technology coming from Samsung. In some of their new cameras, you're going to be able to take a Samsung phone, and you're going to be able to touch the camera. You take a picture with the camera, you touch it to the phone, just touch it. And
Really?
then the picture will open up in the phone, and then you can communicate that picture in any way that you normally would: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, email,
Wow.
whatever it is that you want to do.
So it transfers from something like this direct to a
Right,
smartphone?
right. A lot of the cameras do it now. Some of them do it, but not very well. You're going to see
Oh,
that technology dramatically improve. So what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get the quality of that you get from a camera,
sure.
all the advantages that you get from a camera, lenses, and so on, and you're going to be able to still communicate those pictures. Because when you really think about a picture taking circumstance, even when you have your smartphone, it's usually one picture you're sending. You want to capture the essence of it.
Yes.
So the camera affords you, and it's very hard to take multiple pictures with a cell phone. It's very slow. On top of that, you want to use your mobile device when you're actually out there. When you're taking pictures, you can't use it.
Yeah.
So the camera will allow you to capture multiple images, change the settings, do all sorts of things to really capture the moment, and then pick that one picture, tap it, touch it, transmit it, whatever, to your phone, and then communicate it. To
Wow.
me, that's the future. There's just physics limitations in a smartphone, that are going to
Yes.
prevent real photography. They are getting better. They do get better, and under the right circumstances, they can. As everybody always points to that one amazing picture they took with a smartphone and goes, "See, I did this amazing picture." But the reality is, in most cases, they don't capture, and people are actually are accepting missing photographs. So the camera world is going to boost itself by really building that technology into the cameras.
That's
People,
fascinating.
you carry a purse, throw a
Right.
nice little point and shoot, or a small mirrorless camera in your
Yes.
bag, right? You've seen those mirrorless cameras.
Yes.
When you're in a place where you really need photography, you take it out, shoot. You'll have that one unbelievable picture. Touch it to your phone, and you'll be able to transmit it and do everything you want with it.
Ready to go. No cables, no Wi-Fi little cards that go in here.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is okay, but Wi-Fi is still doesn't really get you what you need, because what do you really do with a smartphone? It's that picture you want to share instantly.
Right. Right.
I mean, Wi-Fi is a wonderful product, and you can upload pictures when you're in a Wi-Fi location and so on.
Yeah.
But to me, being able to quickly communicate the picture, I mean, you see me do it. My social media
Absolutely.
is just filled with on-the-spot kind of stuff, and I really welcome being able to carry a camera, leave my smartphone in my pocket, be able to shoot, and then I have that one magic shot you want to be able to send.
Right. And I understand that because I've done event marketing, and I know that at an event you're tweeting with a hashtag that's related to that event, and it's very, very, very time sensitive. So you need that immediacy of a smartphone. But I'm so glad that you mentioned the mirrorless cameras because
Right.
I'm very, very interested in that. I have a DSLR, so I have mirror technology, big camera, okay, no question. And then you've got a great lens, maybe even a telephoto lens, even bigger. So
Yeah.
it's not something you can just throw in your bag and just
Right.
head out the door. So I know Rick Garrity does some great work with Lumix, right?
Right.
Panasonic Lumix. So why don't you just tell me a little bit more about that? Because I know some of our viewers are very interested in that.
Right. So just to mention Rick, because you mentioned Rick and Mike before, Mike Downey is our head instructor here. Rick Garrity is also a full-time instructor here. Rick Garrity is also one of Panasonic's luminaries. They call them Lumix luminaries because Lumix their brand of camera, and he goes all around the country. And we're actually lucky enough to have him teach for us too.
Yeah.
But Panasonic, or the Lumix brand, which they sell cameras under, their cameras are all mirrorless. So in the camera that you have right there, there's
Yeah.
actually a mirror. It's called the DSLR, digital single lens reflex camera.
Yes.
The reflex comes from the mirror. So if you take off the lens, which you don't have to do right now, there's a mirror behind there. Don't do that. We don't want that. We don't want that. So there's a mirror behind there, but the mirror is a mechanical device, and it causes the camera to be larger.
Yes.
In the last few years, there's been technology that's developed. It's called mirrorless camera technology, where the sensor is right behind the lens.
Okay.
The advantage to that system is that you're able to build a much more compact camera. You don't have as many mechanical parts in the camera. There's no mirror. So in fact, Panasonic just produced the GM1. It's a camera I actually had on Fox News, or I had on CBS
Okay.
a few months ago when they came out with it. It's the smallest interchangeable lens camera made. It's about that big. It's like a pack of cigarette size.
Wow.
And it takes their entire line of Lumix lenses.
Mm-hmm.
And that camera takes close to DSLR quality. You have a very sophisticated camera, but it takes very high quality pictures. And in fact, Panasonic is coming out with a camera called the GH4, which some are arguing might be the best camera in the world. And it's a mirrorless camera, and it
Really?
has a micro four thirds sensor, which is a smaller sensor in it. And that camera, that compact design is very good. Now, in terms of everyday use for the consumer,
Yes.
in my opinion, probably a consumer in today's world, unless they are a very advanced photographer, really should go mirrorless. The compact size of the camera means that you're more likely to have the camera with you. And we know what the best camera is in the world, right? The best camera in the world is the camera that you have with you
Exactly.
when you need to take a picture.
Right.
So for somebody like you, I would recommend obviously having multiple cameras, right? Because you're moving towards what I call the professional range of photography, and you definitely want to have a professional camera. But when you're just traveling around, hey, I'm taking the day with my husband, I'm
Yes.
going into the city.
Exactly.
Right? You take a mirrorless camera, you throw it in your pocketbook, and you
Yes.
have a super high quality camera with a whole range of lenses available in order to take pictures. And those cameras are amazing. They're
They're
amazingly fast.
amazing. And I'll tell you something. I was actually taking a wedding photography course. It was on Creative Live. It was online. Okay. And this course, the photography expert who was teaching the course was talking about these mirrorless cameras. And he shoots, I think with a 5D maybe, like a Canon.
That's right, of course,
So
yeah.
he said sometimes before the wedding, when he wants to kind of get in and get some candid shots of stuff going on, he has a mirrorless camera because it's smaller, that he
Right.
can actually go in and nobody knows that he's a photographer,
Right,
nobody's
that's-
bothering him.
It's an extremely important aspect, okay? One of the things that photographers face, particularly street photographers, right? People that do people photography. When you walk in with a 5D and a 24 to 72/8, which is a lens about that big and it's about that big around, right? It weighs, whatever, 16 pounds. It's crazy sharp, right?
Right.
And then you have a flash and you have a flash diffuser on the thing. It looks like you're pointing, some sort of ray gun at something. It's extremely difficult for people to maintain natural, even if they're okay with their picture being
Yes.
taken. When you hold the device like that, now many people don't want or feel uncomfortable. They have self-image issues, right? Everybody does. So
Right.
they don't like to, and so it creates an uncomfortable effect. A mirrorless camera, like that GM1, I've
Yeah.
taken portraits of that without people even knowing, and as a result, you get this candid effect, which you can't get. And in a wedding, what wedding shots are like. People are always like, they said, they get these unnatural poses,
Yes.
and the dreadful pictures. So it's actually a very clever technique on his part because he can walk around and sort of mingle.
Yes.
When you're at a wedding, the photographers come and you always notice them off in the corner, like, oh, is he going to come take a picture of me?
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna get like the bald spot taken in the picture or whatever's going to happen, right? So with that mirrorless camera, he can walk very discreetly around and make people feel more comfortable.
Yes.
And as a result, and those cameras are amazing in low light. They have amazing speed. Nikon just came out with a camera that, I should remember the frames per second of the camera's release of it. It's crazy fast mirrorless camera, like shockingly fast. It's about to come out. Nikon has a camera like that. So, these mirrorless cameras really for everyday photography are
Yeah.
really the way to go.
Yeah.
As a
and
matter of fact, going back to Panasonic and their Lumix camera, the GH4 is going to shoot 4K video in a mirrorless camera.
Wow.
So that's going to be a camera that's this big, small. It's a little bigger than some of the other mirrorless cameras, but still smaller than the camera that you have there.
Yeah.
And it's going to shoot 4K video.
Right. Tell me a little bit about that, the 4K.
Okay, so 4K video is the latest format in video.
Okay.
You've seen it. I'm sure people have seen it talked about, or it's been in the news. It's the next step from HD video,
Okay.
from 1080p. It even gives a more realistic effect than the failed 3D technology. It's really quite amazing. I won't get into the technical side of it. It's not really important. But to me, that 4K video actually will have a greater effect on still photography than it will on video photography for people in the photography world. And the reason is that with 4K video, you can produce stills from 4K video.
Oh, sure.
Okay, it's something like 60 stills a second, and each of those stills are 8 megapixels. So, for example, let me give you without sort of illustrating in pictures.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, there's a lightning storm. Okay? Well, all you have to do is roll the video,
Right.
and then you go back into the video, and I promise you, you will find the bolts of lightning on one of the frames, and you will have an 8 megapixel still of that.
That's
I have
amazing.
seen amazing effects of that. I've seen soccer matches where a person has captured the ball as it's at maximum compression,
Sure.
as it strikes somebody in the face. You see the ball compressing in the because they're able to video it
Right.
and then pull out a single frame. So that to me, this 4K video is going to be a really big revolution. You're going to start to see it in more and more devices. But getting back to what you were saying was it's in these more compact cameras. You
Yes.
see 4K video in a mirrorless camera. So
Amazing.
my advice would be for the regular consumer, mirrorless really at this point is the way to go. If you're looking sort of to be an advanced photographer and you think you're going to do that in the future, then maybe the traditional DSLR is good because then you'll start to acquire DSLR lenses,
Yes.
right? Because you have a lens issue,
Absolutely.
right? You want to have lenses that work. So
Right.
if I were entry level and I knew that I really was just photography was just going to be for fun for me, I would buy mirrorless. If I thought I was going to be a little more serious about it, I would then look at both systems a little more carefully.
Right. And how about for businesses that want to just include some better marketing photography? What should they start with?
I mean, to be honest with you, in that case where size doesn't really matter, I would probably lean towards DSLR photography because you're going to have a better run at hooking up lighting and doing the things that you have more traditional features you have on a DSLR. You're going to tripod mount the camera in many cases.
Right.
To me, I probably would still go with DSLR style photography. I'd buy either Canon or Nikon and buy one of their DSLRs
Okay.
and actually do that. If you're mobile, if you're going to do it and you're in mobile, like you're out in trade shows and stuff like that, 100% go mirrorless. You're walking around a trade show, you're carrying enough stuff, you're doing all that stuff. You want to have the most compact camera that you have.
Yes. You want to be
I
able
do.
to just move. You want to
Right.
go.
Obviously, I can take any camera that I want with me and do anything I want with it. Whenever I do event photography, it's with a mirrorless camera, always.
Okay, interesting. And one thing that I just want to share with people was that one of the ways that I really was able to find out what worked for me with this kind of camera, the DSLR, it's a Canon T4i, was that instead of investing in these really big lenses to see if I was happy with the lens, if it would serve me well, should I get a wide angle, should I get a macro, I was able to go to Unique Photo and rent the lenses before I actually invested in them, and it was so worth it for me. So
Absolutely. I
yeah.
mean, the expense of the fast glass, those lenses are several $1,000s.
Yes.
And sometimes you only need them a few times a year. So renting is extremely economical. Our rental program, we have the largest rental program in New Jersey, one of the largest in the country. And the reason people like it is it gives you a whole variety. I think we have several thousand products in there. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe you have 1,000 products in there. And you have them at your disposal. You can rent them anytime you want, try them. You need a fisheye lens. You want a fast telephoto lens. I mean, that lens could be, a few $1,000s. You can rent it for a few dollars.
Right.
And then you have access to it and you can try it. And actually, we have a program where if you rent it and then you decide you want to buy it, we apply part of the rental to the buy. So, it's a really, really good program. It's one of our fastest growing programs. It's one of our largest programs. Highly recommended for businesses, particularly when you have a particular application. You need a lens, come in. You can reserve it right online and come in and grab a lens.
Absolutely. And if you just have a need, maybe for something over a weekend, you can get the 3-day rental. It's just a nice way to just have something at your disposal without having to sink in all of your dollars and invest it in this one product.
And
It's a great
another
program.
side of that too, like for example, let's say you came to me and you said, okay, I'm going to shoot my friend's a party over the weekend, or I'm going to shoot the wedding or something. You're capable of doing that now. I wouldn't go with the T4i. It's not super strong in low light. It's not. It's a medium level camera. You can come in and rent a 1DX. It's an $8,000 camera, and you can be a pro shooter for the weekend and get a pro camera for a small amount of money. I mean, you already have the lenses, so you don't even have to rent lenses. You can actually rent the camera body.
Okay,
right?
so it's interchangeable with that particular camera.
Right, because you have Canon lenses.
Yes.
Right, so you can come in and rent a 5D Mark III.
Okay.
Right, so let's say you wanted to do an event.
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend a T4i for a low light event kind of thing. I would say, hey, you should be using a 5D Mark III. Come in and rent a 5D Mark III. You already have the lenses. You don't even need to rent the lenses. You've already got them. You can just take your lenses, borrow the body for the weekend, rent it for the weekend, and shoot. So that's a really, really good technique too. And in many cases, for businesses, renting really is the way to go almost all the time. They then always have the latest camera available to them. And we have really good technical support here. We'll help you along a little bit. We'll be able to show you how to use the stuff. So, to me, that's a really smart thing to do. It's a great point.
Absolutely. And I would just say that when I've had questions as I was going along, I mean, your instructors are fantastic, but sometimes you have a question when you're getting involved and you have to practice with photography. Like always have to shoot.
Uh,
I'm a shutterbug, and I'm thankful that you made me one. But you really have to practice. And sometimes when you have a certain application, say you want to shoot something that's moving. Like I had an event that I was shooting. It was a triathlon, okay? And it was something that was going to be using the panning technique that I had
right.
learned with Rick Garrity, and he was running across the room, and we would have to, track him. But it was something that I just wasn't sure about, and I wanted to make sure that my shoot was perfect on the day of the event. Like you can't really say, "Wait, can you hold everybody's triathlon running right now?"
That's
Because
right. Slow down for me a sec.
yeah,
Stop.
yeah, just stop right
Start,
there.
start
Yeah.
the race over again.
So, sometimes you just want to go back and go to Unique Photo,
Right.
go where the experts are, just make sure that you're doing it right. And I practiced panning. I'm friends with Rick on Facebook, so he was always helping me behind the scenes. I'm like, look, I need to do this. I was practicing down the driveway. My husband was riding his bike down the block, so I was like, snap, snap.
That's really nice of you to friend him on Facebook because Rick is a very lonely guy.
Yeah.
He needs friends.
Is that
so?
so?
I'm trying to encourage everybody to. As you know, that's totally not true. Everybody in the world loves Rick. But I'll just say something else. You don't even really have to reach out to our official instructors. If you come in our store, every single person that works in our store, every one of them, if they wear a blue shirt, I have a stylish blue
I've
shirt.
got a blue shirt.
Yeah, that's right. We're all blue today, right? Right? Pound. Give me pound. Right?
Pound.
Exactly. Right. So we're all stylish blue, right? But the guys that wear the blue shirt, guys and gals that wear the blue shirt in the store, it means they're working photographers. Every single person who works behind the counter at Unique Photo is a working photographer, which means they possess a lot of knowledge. We dispense free technical support. You walk in the store, you ask them, they'll gladly help you with anything. So we encourage that, right? And sort of because we're in a business discussion, not just a photography discussion. That's really an important model because you become authoritative as a business like that. People want to come into the store because they're not just coming in for you to take their money. They're coming in to participate, to become part of what you have here. And that's really, really an important part. Like when you walk in the store, okay, we're friends and so on, but when you walk in the store, you feel comfortable in there. You don't feel like you're going to get pounced on, that people are trying to say, if you just want to come in and talk photography, we'll do that. Right? It's a comfortable place to do that. It's extremely important for a business to do that, to create an atmosphere where people are comfortable to come to the business. Even not a retail store, even if it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, you want your customers to be comfortable.
Your little coffee section, little coffee talk. I've had conversations there with many of your staff on some kind of technology.
I am a consumer of our coffee. We have a coffee bar, a gourmet coffee bar, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And many times we actually hold corporate meetings there. When I have heads of state come in here, heads of corporations come in here, nobody wants to sit in a conference room and look at the pictures of our whatever. They want to go sit out in the store and see where all the action is. And so we have a really nice space out in the store to sit and discuss and feel like you're part of the community. We have great coffee.
It's totally great. And I just wanted to ask you, Matthew, if there are any exciting projects that are coming down the pike for Unique Photo? Or for yourself?
Yeah, actually, we do. We have a couple of really interesting things coming down. The problem is a few of them are like, I don't want to call them secretive, but I'll be careful about how we describe them. We're going to have a very, very special photo booking product that's going to come out. We're actually going to have an exclusive with one of the big manufacturers in our business. And they're going to be producing an extremely high quality photo album, and we're going to be able to offer that to our customers. It's a photo book. It'll be a book. And the reason it's really relevant here is that it's a book that businesses would want. So it's not just sort of like you go have a birthday party and you go produce sort of this amateurish photo book. This is a production quality book that professionals are going to want, or something that you can hand out to corporate clients or something. This is going to be really so this is going to be available relatively shortly, only at Unique Photo.
Very nice.
A couple other things we have going on here. You're going to see a change in, I've been talking a lot about Panasonic, they're on my mind because we're working with them. But that coffee bar area that we just talked about is actually going to be transformed. And the whole corner is going to turn into what's called a Lumix Lounge. It's going to be a place where photographers can hang out. There's going to be a better, sort of more comfortable seating in there. There's going to be a continuous running Google Hangout from in there. So we're broadcast social media, and Panasonic is looking to do product launches and have photography seminars right from the floor of the store, which we'll be able to broadcast over the internet. So that's a pretty exciting and relevant. So maybe the next time we do one of these interviews, you will come into the store.
Okay.
We'll sit next to each other, and we'll actually maybe we'll bring in some other guests.
Okay.
We can actually do it remotely too, so not all the guests have to be in the store.
Right.
And we'll actually run a Google Hangout, or we can do Skype or both or whatever it is, and we can broadcast this live all over the place.
Nice. That'd be awesome. You know, I was actually yeah.
So the store is actually going to be a function like that. It's going to be a social media place.
Like, I know, and that's not surprising coming from you.
Right.
But I was actually kind of toying with the idea of, should I do this on a Google Hangout today
Right.
with you? Because I know you're pretty high tech and stuff, but I just wanted to test the Skype waters and see what we had going for us today. So I think this worked out very nicely.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I don't really have any. Usually when you do a Google Hangout,
Yeah.
unless you do a lot of pre-marketing, right? And I like this because we can talk marketing.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't really necessarily offer an advantage. The advantage of Google Hangout is you can do it live and broadcast it to a lot of people. But basically, you and I are the only ones who know right now that we're doing this. So you're going to take the podcast of this, you're going to take the video of it, we'll put it on YouTube. That's where we'll be able to broadcast it out, right? Google Hangout is good as if you pre-advertise it, and then you get people to watch live.
It is.
So for this kind of thing, I really think this is, this is a perfectly.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
And-
no, I think it's really great too.
And I think one of the things that I like to do is a little post-production after. So I
That's
know
really
that.
a good idea with me because
Yeah.
you definitely want to be able to edit me. I'm
Is that
dangerous.
so?
That's right. So right, you asked me to keep this G-rated, which
Yeah.
I took some meds beforehand so that I can do that. So I
Okay.
didn't really strip down. I didn't body paint myself. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't try to body paint you. I didn't,
Because
none
we
of that.
have to look forward to something for next time, Matthew.
I see. Okay. Okay. Next time, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Google Hangout from my store. You and I are going to get body painted.
I'm
right?
thinking chicken feathers.
Chicken feathers. No, I like the body paint. It's kind of sultry and, that's chicken feathers. I have a few people that I wouldn't mind tarring and chicken feathering, but that's it.
No.
We can save that for the third one.
A little different.
Right.
All right, but no, this has been so much fun today, Matthew. I want to leave on an inspirational note. I want to ask you, what is your favorite photographer? Maybe an inspirational quote you could share, something that inspires you about photography.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. For me, since we have in our university, we have had a set, I don't want to say everyone, but we've had a large amount of very well-known photographers, who have come through our facility. And so for me to pick one, it's sort of like, what's your favorite food or what's your favorite, I don't know. It depends on, to me, it depends on the kind of photography. Like I have my favorites. And so I think maybe what I'll do is I'll mention a few of them. So if I were and I'll just sort of say it like this, who would I want to learn from?
Okay.
So if I were an event photographer, I think I'd want to learn from Hansen Pham. Okay, there's nobody better at posing. There's no better instructor than him. He's a Canon Explorer of Light. For me, he's the guy who really communicates that kind of thing well.
What's the last name again?
Hansen Pham. He's from Canon. If I wanted to talk about Americana photography, sort of capturing the moment, we've had a photographer in here. He was a former White House photographer. His name is Chris Usher. He was very inspiring for me because way back when we had him in, the little light bulb went off in my head when I watched his photography, and I realized that not every image had to be tack sharp.
Okay.
I'm a very mathematical kind of person, so I like to, everything needs to be perfectly clear and focused. And he had a lot of images which had motion and blur, and it's sort of like my little brain, the little light bulb went off in there, and
Right.
oh wow, not everything has to be tack sharp. So he really is very, very inspiring. I mean, we've had Art Wolf in here. I mean, he's considered one of the best. I mean, his images are breathtaking. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. I mean, the photographers that we've had Gregory Heisler in here, who's some consider the greatest portrait photographer in the last whatever number of years.
Right.
My personal friend Robert Farber. His images are breathtaking. I can just go on and on and on in naming photographers.
Sure, I bet. But it's great to see that you have photographers that inspire you.
Absolutely.
And, I just have to
Absolutely.
say
I
that-
sit in on those seminars and you want to be inspired. See,
Yeah.
that's an important point. You go in there not only just to learn how to click the dials, but you see these photographers and you learn how to become inspired.
That's right.
I'll sort of end because you asked for my an inspirational quote, and for me, I think it's not necessarily about photography, but it's about life in general.
Okay.
Okay, and it's for business people. So all business people really need to think like this. And my motto, my slogan is, how badly do you want it? If you think about that, if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. You want your business to succeed, just keep asking yourself, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? And that to me is my motivation. So when I look at something and I say, I need to get from here to there, I say to myself, how badly do you want it? I do it in physical fitness. I do it in every way. So to me, I drive myself like that, and driven people are the ones who are most successful.
That's great. I couldn't have thought of someone more driven than you, Matthew Sweetwood, and I thank you so much today for today's interview.
Thank you, Vicki. It was a pleasure being here. I look forward to our next one.
Thank you very much. And you can look for this podcast on the Smarter Online Marketing Podcast. It's an episode that's coming up shortly. And the video will also be available on YouTube on my channel, Say Wow Marketing. Okay, if there's any questions, post your comments below this video or email me at Vicki, V-I-C-K-I-E, at saywowmarketing.com. And how can they contact you, Matthew?
I'm available on Twitter at @msweetwood. You can reach me. I'll give you my email. I love hearing from people out there. I'm Matt, M-A-T-T, at uniquephoto.com. So Twitter really is good, msweetwood or Matt at uniquephoto.com. And also a lot of this content, we're going to obviously social media this content. So you'll be able to find that on my Twitter. You'll find it on Unique Photos Twitter, on our Facebook, and so on. We're going to really promote this lovely interview out there.
All over the place.
All over the place.
Thanks again, Matthew.
Happy spring to you.
Happy spring. Bye now.
Bye.